Hi, my name's Chris Szabo. I'm from Madeira Island, a beautiful Portuguese island in the Atlantic Ocean, and I'd like to welcome you to Joomla Juice.
Chris is one of those fortunate few that lives the dream, being a web developer, creative, working on an idyllic island, an exotic island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And for the holidays, we thought we'd also introduce Don Friesian, who's a pretty funny comedian.
You think it's embarrassing buying the Idiot's Guide? Try taking it back.
Well, hi Chris, welcome to Joomla Juice. This is something different for us, and I thought, seeing Easter's coming up, we'd move away from profiling core team members, but we'll talking to you as a community member and a highly skilled creative talent in the way you've developed with Joomla. In particular, recently you've developed a website, a golfing website. Can you tell us a bit about that website and maybe give us the domain, and we'll work our way through that?
Yes, this is one of the websites for one of the two golf courses on the island of Madeira. This is the Palheiro Golf website at www.palheirogolf.com.
Mm-hmm.
And this site belongs to the Palheiro Golf course, which is owned by the Blandy family here on the island.
I mean, just looking at the site, it looks really tempting, and you've got some nice features there. I mean, there's a lot of really good photographic content, which you've used a flash header, I can see. So when you first get on the site, it just creates that feeling of, oh, I want to go there. So was that part of the brief?
Yes, it was. As there are two golf courses here on the island, it's very competitive, and it's a beautiful green island. Madeira is known as the floating garden. And with the high bandwidth we have nowadays, it was so simple to get large images, but of course these images have to be the right ones because the images make the site. And a local professional photographer supplied me with these images, and it helped make the site what it is. This photographer was actually a partner of mine in a previous graphic design company, and he already had made these for some high-resolution glossy brochures he produced.
Okay.
So they were of exactly the right caliber.
Now the question, because we're talking sort of in and around the concept of Joomla as a framework to use in a situation like this, so can you tell us your Joomla story? How did your company come to start using Joomla?
Well, quite strange actually. I went to Germany last year, at the beginning of the year, to do a course to learn how to create CMS sites with Rainbow, which is Microsoft based. And my instructor at the time, a guy called Eddie, had just decided to move from Germany and go and live in Spain. And when I returned from the course, he contacted me and asked if I would be interested in working with him. But we both seemed to find Rainbow a little bit too inflexible. There were things that you couldn't do graphically, and it all seemed very boxed. And we did some research on the internet and found that Joomla seemed to be the ideal application to use. And since then, we've built numerous Joomla websites, and I have to say, it has been very, very flexible.
Eddie, are you still involved with Eddie in terms of him doing programming for you?
Yeah, Eddie's part of the company,
yeah.
But he's over in Spain, and we communicate via video conferencing every day.
Okay, that's great. You obviously got good connections in Madeira.
In Madeira, yes. I've been here since '88, and when I started working with the internet in 1995, I believe, I already started doing some hotel websites. So I probably did many of the major hotels on the island purely as websites. So I really did gain a lot of good contacts, not only for the graphic design side, but also for the internet side.
With Joomla in mind, when you deploy that, do you give the clients access to the back end? Do you give them editing rights? What's involved with that process, or do you give them some tuition before you let them loose?
Well, once the site is designed and before we publish the site, we give our clients schooling. And most clients don't want to get too involved with the site. They want to do basic editing, which can be done purely from the front end.
Yeah.
But a big site, for example, such as Paliero Golf, where many people are involved and many of the staff will be working on updating the site, there have to be back-end access as well. So for Paliero Golf, we have already done schooling and shown them how to use the front end and the back end. And up to now, apart from the graphics side, where things have to be improved a little with images that have been put in, they're not finding any problems at all.
Yeah, I see, well, I think we've had a conversation before we started this interview. I see the British language flag there for English. Do you have plans to make this multilingual?
Yes, we're already developing the Portuguese and German. Most of the pages are ready, it's just not activated. And I would think that within the next 10 days, both languages will be ready.
Brilliant. So that's with me assuming that as a destination for golfers, those two languages, the main ones concerned with people thinking about going, apart from English-speaking people.
Well, this is a preference for the golf site. Something interesting for all Joomla users is one of the first sites I developed with Eddie was a hotel website called Pastana Grand. And we did this in 12 languages using Joomla. And this is what really sparked my passion for Joomla, because it was so easy to put together. And we've even used Russian, for example. So this site is running in 12 languages. It's online. They're getting bookings from all over the world. And it was very simple to put together.
Well, and now it's time for our comedian, Don Friesian. Stay tuned for part 2 of the interview with Chris Szabo.
All this technology, I'm just trying to play catch-up. I'm trying to catch up. I just got the high-speed internet at home, DSL, because I want to freeze my screen faster. I got tired of waiting 2 minutes. I want to be frustrated now, man. I spent all week on tech support. You ever talk to those guys? They hate me. They don't even hide it. They're like, look, you're obviously not getting this at all. I'm looking for some words you might understand. Is there anyone else there we can talk to? Just me and my son. How old is he? 7. Put him on. He's rattling off all this jargon like I'm supposed to already know. Well, your TCP, IP, USB, and LMNOP. Oh, I got to reconfrag my Jaggenhauser? I'll get right on it. I felt like a caveman, He's trying to get me to reboot something. I got 2 rocks I'm clanging together trying to get a spark. Zorg is angry, still no fire. We're going in circles. It's Abbott Costello. Who's your server? Who's my server? Exactly. Exactly what? No, what's your browser? Third base? Eh? Do you even know what you're talking about? I did before you called. I talked to this one guy for like 45 minutes. I finally asked him, how much does this cost me? He said, $2.50 a minute. Yeah, I was like, so what are you wearing? Breaking even one way or another. Then he recommends this book, The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Internet. He's like, you better write it down, you might forget. I think I can remember I'm an idiot, right? So I go down to Barnes & Noble. I'm over in the computer section. I'm looking everywhere for this idiot's book. I can't find it anywhere. So now I got to go get help finding the idiot's guide. Turns out there's a whole other section now that's just for idiots. Do you guys realize they're splitting us from the rest of the herd? Now they're putting us all together where they can keep an eye on us so we don't distract the regular customers with our special needs. He's like, look, we got a lot of books about a lot of topics, but everything you need is right over here. Oh. Thanks for putting them all together, man. You have any idea how much time you just saved me? And I was psyched that they're all in one spot, but they're really not, because there's like a whole other section for dummies. Now I'm torn. That's a real watershed moment, huh? Grown man in the middle of a bookstore. Am I a dummy or an idiot? Never really looked at it that way, you know? So either or, is that the deal? You know, a little bit of both. Maybe I'm bi, I don't know. I used to say I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. Now I'm not even sure about that. So I bought the Idiot's book. Tried that one, you know. Took it home, read it. Didn't help at all. You think it's embarrassing buying the Idiot's Guide? Try taking it back. Because there's nothing you can say, you know? I mean, they got you. You are who you are, you know? So, hi, I thought I was an idiot. Woo! I'm not even in the ballpark, man. I am living a lie. It's like, what are you, some kind of idiot? No, I wish. Oh. Everyone keeps saying ignorance is bliss. Well, not if you're aware of it.
Visit joomlajuice.com for links to Don Friesian's comedy act and other links associated with this particular podcast. Show notes are also on Joomla Juice. Now it's time for part 2 of the interview with Chris Szabo. So for people like hoteliers and people where multilingual sites are useful, it can be a business driver.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Joomla is perfect for hotels where content has to be kept up to date on a daily basis. I think it's the perfect tool for hotels.
So do you, with hotels in particular, do you have to integrate booking systems that might be on something else? I mean, how do you go about all that?
Well, we're writing interfaces at the moment, so we're putting what they call quick booker modules on each page and interfacing to their current booking system. We're also working with a company called WebRes in Germany that is a hotel booking company, and they have made an interface that works together with the programming that we do.
Brilliant. So for people with hotels or I suppose, could you go down to B&Bs for booking systems like that?
Yes, yeah. I don't see any barriers at all.
Yeah.
I think anything's possible with a bit of good programming. Joomla is just so friendly towards making these adaptations.
So tell me, is Madeira, I mean, it looks so idyllic, and from your accent I can tell you're originally from the UK somewhere. How does somebody such as yourself cope in an environment where they have to learn Portuguese? Are you fluent?
Well, I'm ashamed to say I'm not totally fluent.
Yeah.
I've been here for quite a number of years. I speak Portuguese. I don't write Portuguese, but I can read Portuguese. But it is a must. Many people didn't have the opportunity to learn English on the island, so being able to communicate with everybody is especially necessary that one speaks the local language.
Mm. Well, I mean, from a developer's point of view, to see you doing this caliber of work in the commercial world and living on an island like Madeira, it sounds rather idyllic.
It is, actually, it is. Probably the downside is that when you're working with website design, etc., you're working in English, and I get very little opportunity to use my technical skills on a Portuguese level, because even the local programmers use international English terms for programming.
Yeah, Yeah, which is sort of by default, isn't it?
Yeah.
The golf course, we'll move on from that. But have you played a round of golf there?
No, I don't play golf.
Oh, I do. I'm just looking at it and I want to go. It looks great.
It is a beautiful course. I've flown over it twice in the helicopter, and it really is a beautiful course.
And I also understand there's you've got another website coming shortly. Is there a hotel that's connected with this course?
Yes, it's the hotel connected to the Palero group. It's the Casaveglia do Palero Hotel, which will also be multilingual. This morning I actually was making the first designs for this. And I would think within 3 or 4 weeks we'll be going live with this hotel as well.
And this is this the hotel where Ernest Hemingway stayed, or is that not the case?
No, that was Reed's Hotel. That's a famous hotel in the middle of the capital here, Funchal.
Yeah.
The Casaveglia website, the hotel, is actually directly on the golf course. It's the only on-course hotel on the island.
Okay. So Hemingway himself, he visited a lot of places, but I understand the area's famous for big game fishing. Would that be why he was there?
I believe he enjoyed dancing here as well. There's certainly wonderful big game fishing on the island, and new records are being broken. Particularly last year, there were many records broken. And we've had many famous people here. I would think Madeira has attracted a lot of older people because of the climate and the fact that we don't have any sand beaches, and Churchill and so many famous people were here, and many of them stayed at the famous Reed's Hotel that is now, of course, internationally renowned. But Madeira is also a sort of getaway for celebrities, and because Madeirans don't actually run after famous people,
yes,
we've had celebrities like Madonna here who've been able to have a laid-back holiday without being chased by the paparazzi.
Oh, that sounds idyllic. I wondered if she tried that, what do you call it, tobogganing down the hills?
The toboggan. the wicker sledges. The sledges made out of wicker baskets.
Yeah. I'll put some photos into this podcast so people can see. I looked at, when I was doing some research, contacting you and the Madeira scene, I thought, this looks insane, like something from the 18th century.
It is.
Yeah.
I watched it and I photographed it, and it looks quite hairy, but I've never actually tried it.
So just describe it. There's two guys in an outfit that looks not unlike somebody you'd expect to see at the back of a gondolier.
Exactly. And two guys totally dressed in white with straw hats, and they are the brakes and the engine of this toboggan that is made out of wicker. And they literally sledge down the cobbled roads down the hill towards Funchal, and they're steered by these guys, and these guys use their feet as brakes. And I don't think anything bad has ever happened with one of these sledges.
Well, what happens?
Although they go at very fast speeds.
Well, I read up to 45 kilometres an hour.
Oh yes, easily.
But I mean, what if a car's going the other way?
I don't think cars... I think it's a one-way street, Peter.
Okay.
So people can only come down. But these guys are very experienced, and I've seen them bring a sledge to a halt in just a few meters with their shoes smoking.
Love it. Well, this sounds like a great place. Do you know just to give us a bit more of a picture, what's the population of the island, and what's the development community like there? Are there other web developers, or... Did you know of Joomla users?
I haven't met any Joomla users. I've met many budding Joomla users who have seen some of the sites we've made and have become very interested in Joomla. There are a number of web design companies on the island of varying degrees of success, but Madeira has become very high-tech because Madeira developed very late and was given the resources of the European funding. We have high-tech networks, so we have the latest technology, be it for cable television or for optical connections, and we have great internet connections, so we've got very high bands, so the internet here is very fast.
So, for example, the ability for you to videocast with your partner who's in Spain is not a problem?
Not at all, not at all.
I think after this podcast, you'll find more people wanting to go visit Madeira, set up. You might have some competition.
Well, competition makes sure there's no stagnation, so it can only be welcome.
That's right. One of the things I noticed about the template design of the Paliero, is that right pronunciation?
Paliero.
Yes. Is you've had lovely use of typography, which is always a problem for designers when you're building websites rather than working with desktop publishing where you've got a lot more control. How did you go about that? I mean, your developer is very skilled with CSS. Is that how he's done it throughout the site?
Yes, I think the CSS side is probably one of the most important parts of CMS, or particularly CMS using Joomla. The whole site is steered, is governed by the CSS, and I think most of the creative work goes into the CSS rather than what you actually see on the screen.
Yeah, I just really like the use of white space, which often on websites, if people tend to not do that and everything gets crammed in. So I think the way you've got the photographs and the information displayed, and even you've got a little weather bot on the front page down the bottom, which gives golfers an indication of what the weather's like. I think it's really it's really nice. That do you know what that component is?
The weather component.
Is that eWeather? Is it?
That is a weather module that is available for Joomla.
Okay, was that a freebie?
I believe it is. Yes.
Oh, nice one.
Yes, it is. It's working together with weather.com, I believe. The Weather Channel, yes.
Yeah. So now you guys are sort of becoming more intimately involved in using Joomla. Do you think you'll stick with it for a while and maybe help us out with 1.5, because it's pretty close? It's on the horizon.
Well, we are totally blown away by Joomla. It was my second introduction to CMS, and my first introduction to Rainbow wasn't that awe-inspiring, but Joomla has so much potential, and it's always been said that you can always see a CMS site by looking at it, and I believe it's very easy now to develop sites that don't look like CMS sites at all.
Well, this doesn't really.
There's a lot of controversy about Web 2 and whether it really exists or it doesn't exist, but certainly Web 2 sites have a lot more white space and try to show things in a lot more simplified way, and it makes it a lot more pleasant to look at. It makes the reader, the user's experience certainly a lot more agreeable.
Well, I think from your creative input here has really made this thing work, because let's be honest, most golfers that would be visiting Madeira from overseas are people more mature, sort of 30s, 40s, and up to people who are retired. The market is people who've generally got a bit more money to spend. They just want to get the information, they want to be able to read it. And so I see you've got the ability to increase the typeface size on the fly for those guys who might have a bit of trouble reading. And that makes sense.
Well, absolutely. I think most of my experiences come from working in the tourism industry, where websites really have to sell themselves.
Yeah.
And the images are probably the most important part. And having published lots of brochures before I got onto the internet, white space is just as important as good images.
Yeah.
And if a hotel has to sell itself on the internet for users to make a buying decision, then it's got to look as beautiful as possible.
Well, Chris, it's been really great to talk with you today, and hopefully we can catch up again when you got something else on the go, because if you've set a very high benchmark with Paliero Golf, I'd be interested.
That's nice of you to say so.
All the best, and keep up the good work down on the exotic island of Madeira.
Thank you, Peter. It was nice talking to you too.
Don't forget, for show notes, visit joomlajuice.com. We'll see you next time around.
This is great. I've been here all week. Sacramento, you guys, man, all week people have been saying nothing ever happens in Sacramento. Why are you taping in Sacramento? That's exactly why I'm taping in Sacramento. Yeah. You seriously think we packed this place out if anything else was going on? Oh, man, I've been in here all week. I don't think I finished one phone call on purpose. All week, I don't know, it's not even just here. Everywhere I go, I got that nationwide plan that works anywhere in the nation except where I'm standing. What happens between here and here? Like, aha, psych. You ever try and trick it? Oh. My wife gets upset. She's like, can't you call me from your car? I cannot call you from my car. I cannot call you from afar. I cannot call you from a tree. I cannot call you after 3. It's like I'm talking in a can. I need a better calling plan. She's like, call me from the plane. I cannot call you from a plane. I cannot call you from a train. Not in the rain, not in the fog. Not digital, not analog. I cannot call you far and near. They said my phone would work right here. Now I know why they call it a cell phone. You own it for 2 weeks, you want to sell it. I mean, wasn't it all supposed to work by now? Don't you remember those films about the future? The guy would come out in the year 2000. Man will have mastered his environment. Look at us now. He's signal, signal. He's signal, signal. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, I can't hear you. We can't both hear each other. I don't have that plan. No, I have the let's talk louder and hope that somehow helps plan. Louder and slower. You ever try complaining to the company? Forget it. They don't care. They're like, you must not be near a tower. Well, where are the towers? We don't really know where the towers are. They're there. You just got to know where to find them. That's their attitude. I wish we could say that to them. We haven't received your payment. Well, it's there. You just got to know where to find it. Maybe if you take the bill and go like this, it'll turn up magically. Can you pay me now? Can you pay me now? They didn't build enough towers. You know, pretty soon they'll have little mini towers. They'll sell them to us. We'll wear them on our heads. No, you laugh. We'll do it too, because we're signal chasing whores. I'm the worst. I'll get the first one. You get the tower? Yeah, I got it on right now. Yeah, people are looking. They're jealous. We can't all be on the cutting edge. Make fun of people who don't have the tower. Check this guy out. I can't even look at him, man. He's using a payphone. Whatever. He's practically Amish. They're practically Amish. I don't know what else to do, you know, because I travel. I can't just call from home, or I would. I tried dialing the 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 phone codes. Every time you learn the code, they change it, you know? The celebrities are mocking us, too. Like John Lithgow was the first one. He's like, dial 10, 321. Okay? No, dial 10, 10, 32, 32111, 3211. And then 1, and then the number. It's just that simple. Look, take the sum of the first 3 digits, divide by 7, round up to the nearest whole integer. If that total is a 10 or 11, double down unless the dealer's showing a face card. Hop on 1 foot, form a trapezoid for each independent calling area. Do you know the Muffin Man?
Ow, I just fell down the stairs.
Please hang up and try again.